Drums always played a crucial role in any music genre. If you think about it, everything started with them. Simple rhythms were here before any melodic instrument we know. These days, it's really easy to program them to the point that everyone can be called drummer. Well, not exactly. No matter which genre you make, we can all agree that robotic drums like those sound nothing like a real drum set. As long as real drummer can play main elements like kick and snare with the same impact, hi-hats, rides or any fast-paced repetitive elements would be impossible to play at the same volume. It looks different from DAW to DAW, but in my case I can highlight all and use randomized velocity function. Already much better. Other key thing is swing. And once again, no matter the genre, it can add to the signature sound or introduce something unique to boring and repetitive drums. Your DAW may handle adding swing in different ways. Ableton Live has grooves, humanized feature, but what works the best is to experiment with notes placement by moving them off the grid to your taste. If you already knew about it, treat it as a quick reminder, since we are moving to some more advanced tips. Adding human feel can also be done by proper sound selection. I'm not saying you should replace signature sounds with live drum samples, but once you start to layer them, it's a whole different story. I like how this sample adds tone to the original snare, but the problem with layering is that you can lose the impact due to phase issues. I'm using Fuser on my second layer, with my original snare being the sidechain source. Let's try the phase fix button first to bring back the impact I was talking about. Sweet. Now you can try to remove frequency conflicts as well, but in my case lowering the volume is enough to glue those two sounds together. You can do the same with kicks, rides or cymbals if you need, as long as you will follow the next step I'm about to show you. But before, make sure to click the subscribe button and turn notification on to never miss our new videos on mixing and mastering. It's time to get into mixing those drums in the context. It's not a coincidence that I totally skipped mixing and adjusting individual sounds. These days, sample packs offer high quality and already processed sound. If your production is based purely on them, then it's better to double down on picking right sounds instead of trying to fix them with EQ, compressors and so on. I like to use Clipper first to control transient peaks a little bit and glue the whole buzz with a little bit of saturation. Next, it's time to shape the tone in the context. Let's use Mixroom for that. And in fact, we can try drum-specific preset, which will analyze my sound and suggest me adjustments. Sounds okay, but since I have a lot of noisy basses here, let's bring this band down a little. Next step is to control resonances. It's key to do this now, since once I get into compression, those resonant peaks will get enhanced, which means more unpleasant. Many producers totally neglect this, but you should definitely put your drums into space with reverb. Yes, a whole drum group. It depends on your routing and workflow, but creating separate chain, EQing lows and adding reverb is by far the easiest and fastest method. Then you simply choose a short reverb and blend it with original. Last step is my favorite one. Glue everything together with parallel compression. There are many ways and guides to dial settings, but I usually slam the signal to the max. And then I adjust the tag and release settings based on how it responds to transients. Cool thing to try is to switch detector to bandpass, since it makes the compression react more to kick and snare transients. If you use something different than distressor, it's the same as sidechain filter. The only thing to do left here is, once again, blend it with original. As you can see and hear, there are not so many steps to add a little bit of flavor to your drums and make them sound more like a real drum set. Keep in mind that at the beginning I showed you my drum boss in solo, but in real life you should always work in the context, especially while selecting sounds. No worries if the last part about compression got you a little bit confused. We have a whole video dedicated to compression, which makes this whole process a lot easier.